Hello everybody, it is Pixel, and today we are going to be making Salmon Wellington from a recipe I found on YouTube. And for that we're going to need salmon, of course, puff pastry sheets, spinach, butter, egg, Parmesan cheese, Italian seasoning, prosciutto, onions, cream cheese, and garlic. Well, you know the drill. Let's get going. Once our pan's hot enough, we're going to be adding in about half a cup-ish of onions and our Italian seasoning. We're going to let that cook up a little bit before we add in our spinach. And when all the onions are starting to brown up, we're going to put about 2 cups of spinach into our pan and cook that down thoroughly. There we go. When our spinach is all wilted like this, we're going to take it off the heat and let it cool off for about 5 to 10 minutes before we put it in a bowl. And then I'll show you what we can do to it there. Okay, once our spinach is in a bowl, we're going to be adding in Parmesan cheese. And once that's mixed in, we are going to be putting in about half a pack of our cream cheese. And we're going to be mixing that in thoroughly also. Okay, with our spinach and cream cheese all mixed in together, we're going to be putting this in the fridge while we're working with our dough and salmon until we need it. So we'll see this stuff back in a little bit. Alright, we've got our first sheet of pastry down, and usually 2 come in a pack. And on top of that, we are going to add our salmon to the very middle of it. If you have any skin on your salmon, you're going to want to take that off. I kind of butchered it, but ours has no more skin on it. Alright, I've already started it a little, but you're going to want to take your spinach mixture and start generously putting that on our salmon and spreading it over the whole top of it. Okay, once that's out, we're going to start taking our prosciutto and covering the very top of our Salmon Wellington. Probably going to need one more piece of that to make this better. And finish topping it off. There we go. Kind of shape it around the salmon, tuck it in a little, tell it a bedtime story, you know. Now, if you want a thicker layer of prosciutto, you could probably put it back across or even like that again. But I think 3 pieces is enough. It's not my favorite cut all the time. So I just want the flavor. Last but not least, we are going to cover the top of this with our remaining piece of pastry. And I'm going to take a minute or 2 to seal this off, turn it up, and bind the edges so nothing drips out. When we are done with that, we are going to want to give it some slits like so, all the way through maybe. Maybe put a light design on it. You don't have to. Sometimes it's just fun. There we go. We've got one more step and we can put it in the oven. Alrighty, our last step, boys and girls, is going to be putting this lovely egg wash over the top. Don't be scared to get it in all the little cracks and things you just put on here. So it'll be a lovely brown color when we take it out of the oven. Well, that's covered beautifully, and we are going to be putting this at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. You got to keep your eye on it. You don't want it to overbake or brown up too much or anything like that. Alright, well, I'll see you back in a little bit. As you can see, we transferred our Wellington to a baking dish, and we're going to be taking the paper and putting it back on the pan to cool. We're probably going to let that sit around for 10 to 20 minutes, just, you know, go by how hot or room temperature you want it at, but we don't want to cut it open and have it be all runny. So we're going to give it a little time to cool, and I'll be back in a little. Okay, it's sat around for probably about 20 minutes, and it's holding together nicely. And I like how you can see both of the layers. But now is the fun time. We get to try it. So, let's go. First off, I like the creamy flavor that the cream cheese and the Parmesan gave it melting. And I love the fish flavor because it's perfectly cooked. I don't know if this is my favorite way to cook salmon. I'm glad I tried it. There's almost like a richness to it that the salmon and all the cheese gets, and it's like, yeah. So, it's not bad. It's definitely at least a 7 or 8 out of 10. I'm just not sure I love it. It would almost be better if we had a gravy with it or something, or a sauce. So if you have any comments, want to make it yourself, or anything else, leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know. And I will see you soon.